Hi, today we are going to talk about class logbook. A class logbook is a way to record and keep track of events in every classroom. A logbook is a record what a student did during the time with the teacher in the class. For a principal, it is very important to monitor the academics, what is happening around the day in all the classes. This logbook will help principal or the coordinators and give them details of all the periods of what has happened in the classroom. This must be checked very carefully because students are giving their opinions over here in this. The first point comes, what can be the format of this class logbook? We can have a date, which period, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, which subject is being taught in that period, what was done in the class, revision, teaching, chapter, which chapter, aids taken, whether smart class was taken or not in the next, then assignment or homework, and the teacher's signature. So this can be the format of the class logbook. How to fill for class pre-nursery to class second? The filling can be done by the teachers, but class 3rd onwards to class 12th, students must fill, the class monitors or the prefects must fill this diary, and teachers need to sign once the teacher is leaving the class, because teachers must also have a feedback of what has happened. What is the way that we need to submit or collect the diary? At end of the day, the class monitor must go to the principal's office or the designated space, maybe coordinator's office, and submit all the diaries over there as soon as the class gets over. And early morning, they must go and collect the diaries from there, so that around the day, these diaries can be written by the class monitors or the class prefects. Now, I'll give some tips for the teachers, how to what's happening, and for the students, how they need to fill. If a teacher is of another subject that is of not that particular class, then teacher can give some questions over there, or some listening can happen, or smart class videos can be played. Once the chapter is being explained, then how many questions and which questions have been done must be written over there. Some extra notes or some extra things which have been done must be mentioned in the log diaries. If a teacher is on substitution over there, then probably a black pen can be used by the student, or teacher can sign in a different color, so that principal gets to know that the substitution period was there. Whichever chapter is covered, or whatever questions are covered during the class, a written work which has been done, or chapter explanation, must be mentioned over there, or even the topic must be mentioned in the teacher's class logbook. If a smart class is being played, then in the aids part, we must mention what are the portions of smart classes which were covered during the period. If it is a sports or a library period, then which books were given to the students to read, or in sports, which sports students played, whether sports happened or not. Even in the hobby period, whether hobby has happened or not, must be mentioned, and what is the lesson which is taught in the sports or hobby, so that it is also mentioned over there, and principal or coordinator gets to know whether in sports period sports happened or not. Holidays can be marked with a different color, and we must not skip any page. We must mention the exam and the revision classes. If there are examinations, then examinations we must mention, or revision, then revision, and what kind of revision has happened. Students can also write a lot of good things and a lot of things which require principal's attention or coordinator's attention. That can be mentioned over here. Any chapter which is supposed to be repeated, students can write it down over there in the logbook. Any vacant class without teacher, any portion or to be repeated, some small part to be repeated. Any smart class, if the students need smart classes, any test or assignment they needed or it was overdone, more homework or less homework, any other observation which a student needs, that it must reach to the principal about that particular subject, that particular chapter, must be written in the logbook, and the coordinators and principals must work on that. Now, checking by the principal or the coordinator. This is something very important, that as soon as that logbook reaches to you, because it is there after the school, and as soon as the school starts, the logbook again has to go back to the class. So after the school, you need to observe on the logbook and take a corrective action for the compliance of all the concerns being raised or concerns being observed while checking of the. So immediately those compliances might have to be done, because the feedback is by the students, and that has to be solved within the same moment or at least same day. And the principal or coordinator is to observe whether some teacher has reached or not reached to the class, whether the class teacher has reached late, whether smart classes have been covered or not, teacher are giving homework or not, teachers not giving homework for many days, teachers making students do written work in the class. Is reading happening in the class? And if reading is happening in the class, what is the way, what is the format of the reading? Because every student must get covered while the reading is on. So a strategy needs to be formed for the reading. I'll give you a simple strategy. If there is a class of 30, there can be 50 good readers, there can be 50 slow readers. So 15 students can help these 15 students learn and become a better reader. So reading can be done in a way where all the 30 students are involved in the class. So we need to form up these kind of strategies. Principals can check, because if there are many teachers, those who will come to the class and say complete your work, and the teaching is not on during that period. So principal or coordinators can get that observation that completion of work was mentioned. Then how reading is happening in the class is next thing. This is what we have already covered. Then completion of work is again next thing we can check on. Revision strategies, text on worksheet. Whether the notebook checking, whether the teacher is sitting and correcting the notebooks in the class, that can also be observed, because students will write that the teacher was correcting the notebook. So principal can take a correction action. What happened in the substitution class is another point of evaluation that can be done. Whether syllabus completion movement was satisfactory, or chapter coverage was satisfactory, because it will be written that these chapters are covered over here today, or these questions have been covered. So satisfactory completion of syllabus can be checked by the principal or the coordinator. Learning techniques can be mentioned by the students, and principals can check whether learning is happening, whether the students are learning, and what are the techniques being covered. Then whether over teaching, because some teacher will cover the whole syllabus in one day. So whether over teaching has happened in the class can be again observed. Any special announcement can also be recorded in the logbook. Any event which has happened and the winners and the prizes, whether of the Saturday activities, can be also mentioned, because Saturday activities will be mentioned. Sports classes, sports played, sports conduction, whether sports has happened or not happened, can also be observed. Hobby classes can also be observed with the help of this diary. So there are a lot of things which can be done with the help of this class logbook. So it becomes a very important tool for the principal, for the coordinators to observe, so that we get to know what exactly happened in every period, in every class of the school. Good wishes. I'm sure you might have liked the video. If you have liked the video, do subscribe the channel and keep using videos at Principal's Handbook and Diary. Thank you very much.